Hey guys, welcome back. We've just decided to come live tonight and do a follow-up on today's Tuesday intuition chat with myself and Roz. For those that joined us this morning, we were talking about grief and what happens after the passing with spirit side of it. Say hi, Roz. Welcome.
Hi, Leanne.
Again today.
Hi, everyone. Those that are viewing
Beautiful.
and going to view and record version, etc.
Excellent. Yeah. And please feel free to share and invite your friends and family to join in. So at this stage, we may not do any live readings, but we'd like you to join in the conversation. Let us know your experiences and how you feel. We had a lovely lady by the memory, her name was Vanessa this morning, that we touched a little bit and helped her understand around the passing of her brother that was murdered with that side of it. So, hi, Pam. Beautiful. The comments are working tonight. And we've got Bonnie saying, hi, ladies.
Yes, and, even I can see them in the background at the back end of it, the comments. Just what you're posting up there, Leanne.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent. So, well, that's good. It's working. No little glitches yet. So we've had some fun the last couple of days with the Be Live and Facebook changing and stuff like that. So hopefully tonight it will go well. But basically, Roz and I sort of only managed to get about half an hour show in today due to other things popping up. But we did speak about grief and how it affects us. Roz unfortunately lost a dear friend in the last week or so. I've had a couple of people around me in the last couple of weeks that have lost loved ones, whether a grandfather or a father figure in their lives as well. So we thought it was a perfect a perfect time to actually talk about grief, how we handle it, how spirit, what happens when they pass over. So did you want to give a little rundown, Roz, on sort of, how we kicked off this morning? And we can pick up from there.
Yes, it's almost a long time ago since this morning.
We got a lot done in that time.
We did. I mean, we were covering a bit the different stages, but not really being specific around what different stages there are around grief, because it really does affect people differently, and it can involve the anger, that terrible sadness, and it can lead to depression and other emotions that you really probably could be surprised about, honestly. And and I can't remember what the stages are. I know I've done it way back, and we did briefly go through that this morning. And really the fact that we are only a soul, a spirit that's borrowing this body and this side of a life that we're learning experiences from, but really that actually, and this is my own personal feeling, is that we are actually, home is the other side. We've come here to visit in our body form, and home's the other side. And I think we even briefly mentioned the soul contracts as well. So it was a bit of a progression along that line, as far as death doesn't mean we've died.
Yeah, that's it. And life does go on after our passing as well. So we just got Natasha saying hi. It moved as I clicked on it. Yep. Bonnie says, fingers crossed. I did watch this morning. Excellent, Bonnie. Lovely. I'm pleased you could join in. I can see a few people commenting on my Facebook page as well. Guys, we are coming through My Time TV live tonight, so you can welcome to jump over to that page and watch us live on there through the broadcast, and actually be able to comment so that we can see your comments with that. I do have my Facebook page open, so I may read out some messages from there as well. And Kelly says hello. Amanda, at the moment we're not actually going to do readings tonight. You can catch me live tomorrow night at the same time where I will do readings, but tonight we really wanted to follow on from this morning's conversation where we were talking about grief from our views of what spirit shows us after a passing and whatnot with that side of it. So Pam just says, experience great loss. My brother to cancer and sister due to burn suffering in a home fire. Oh, honey, I send up my love and my healing to you, honey, with that side of it. There's so many different things, and I think in grief, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves and expect a certain thing, where I don't think there is a right or a wrong way to grieve. Ros, you might have a bit more input on that, but I just think we need to do what it is that we need to do in our own way, sort of thing with that. Ros, you've lost your parents in the last 12 months or so, so that may be something that sort of resonates a little bit more with you at the moment.
Yeah. It does. Each one of them, as Dad passed, that was just over the year ago now. The anniversary of that was on the 7th, I think, of August. And there was at least some sort of lead time into that, because he was very ill for a bit of time and discovered, yes, there was a cancer there, and he did die fairly quickly from that in the end. So that was a little bit more of a preparedness, but it still doesn't prepare you for that deep sorrow and the missing them. And Mum, I was caring for Mum straight away afterwards, pretty much. So the process for me, I feel, was actually delayed until Mum had actually passed, because there was that daily care that you can't sort of spend the time you really could do, and watching and caring for her in her grief. So it was a little bit different, I suppose, to the average, but it's still, everyone's experience is going to be different. And, what timeline, just don't put a timeline on it.
That's it.
Did you want me to read that one?
Yeah, actually, Ross has come across something which is absolutely fitting for today's subject, sort of thing. So Ross is going to just read that out for us, and just take note. It may resonate with you.
It's just a little card that I found sitting on my desk just above. I hadn't really looked at it. I probably did read it just after Dad died, and it's called Death is Just an Open Door. Death is just an open door. I have only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed, at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of a shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I'm also out of sight? I'm waiting for you for an interval, somewhere very near, safe and secure. All is well. And that, for me, as I glanced up and looked at it, thought, oh, wow, like we do sometimes need to be reminded they are just with us all the time.
And that's the thing. So we've got Felicity saying, hello, beautiful ladies. She's sending her love. And Kelly is on my Facebook. She says, I had delayed grief over my nan years ago. I never cried when she died, but 2 weeks later I couldn't stop. And that's the thing. I think there's times in grief where we find something to focus on, or we're in that moment trying to be strong for everybody else, or throwing ourselves into other things so we're not thinking. And it catches up with us. And, we need to take that time out to acknowledge our connection with that person and how we feel, not how somebody else portrays that we should feel, sort of thing with that. And like Ros just said, the physical is gone, what I call the vessel, but their spirit, their energy is still very much around us. And for people like myself and Ros are very fortunate that we can feel that and see that. We've all got the ability to do it. It's about honing in our senses, allowing ourselves to feel it. And sometimes that grief can block those signs. So I want to say, for those that are missing a loved one, clear your mind and take that moment to take that deep breath and just allow yourself to connect with them, to feel them around you, because they are very much around us. They find ways. Bonnie is just saying, that's just beautiful, Ros. Thank you. Excellent,
thank you,
Bonnie. It is. And it's just very fitting the way that it was, and this is probably Spirit doing this as well, the way it was put in front of Ros today after this morning's short broadcast that we did, sort of thing. And that is how Spirit will work. They will put things in front of you, whether it's the feathers, the music, and different things like that, the memories as well. Jess is on Facebook saying beautiful words. Robin, honey, we're not actually doing readings at the moment. We are talking about grief and the process of Spirit with what we know from our own experiences with working with Spirit and how it works. So for those that did miss out this morning, Ros and I just sort of spoke about like Ros's friend that has just passed and his situation, how they, as a group of friends, pulled together and made a beautiful video for him. And, you know, pass their messages on that way. But with what I experienced with over my years of working with Spirit has shown me that when we pass, we cross over, we're usually meant by a loved one or loved ones. It doesn't necessarily just have to be one. It could be multiple people. And we spend time together reconnecting. And then those that were there before that person that is just recently passed over will go back to what they're doing. And then the soul that has just passed will go into a healing process where they will do the healing on their life. So whether it's from illness, tragedy, whatever in their life, and be able to reflect on the lessons they've learned in life and that side of it, and then move on to the next journey, whether it's reincarnation, coming back a second time, doing whatever it is they need to do. Sometimes they move up into the angelic world side of it, and that's their journey done in the way of coming back and forwards as a soul with that side of it. And so, and we spoke about what it's like with somebody illness before their passing, where the soul can disconnect from the vessel and start that preparation before the body actually starts to shut down properly, sort of with that. So Ros and I'd love to answer any questions to our best of our ability, I guess is probably the word I'm looking for. If you'd like to ask anything around this side of it, something maybe that you've experienced at the same time. But I've just grabbed a message that caught my eye. Tricia would love any messages from a loved one, especially my dad. Honey, sorry, I didn't actually read that comment before I clicked on it. So we're not actually doing messages tonight, hon. You are very welcome to join in tomorrow night. And I would certainly love to share messages with you then with that side of it, but would rather keep it more so to tonight on the subject, talking about grief and whatnot. So we've got Pam. She says, my daughter was awakened this morning to something hovering over her. She thought it was a nightmare. 3 years to the day and the time we received the call of my sister's fire. I think I was my sister's spirit letting her know she was watching over her. I got yes from that. Did you pick up on anything, Ros? I will just take that down because it's covering your face.
Yeah, that part I can't see in the back end of it, but definitely it is that care that's being taken to look after your sister, was it, or your daughter? Now the comment's gone. I can't read it.
Yeah, but, sorry. It was her daughter awakened by her sister's spirit.
Yeah, look, there's many instances where you might be receiving those types of messages that hasn't really meant much, but that in that instance it was stronger, and you knew that there was something in it really for you to take notice. And Spirit does certainly give us the message very clearly when we really need to know it too, I've found over time. So if you don't I tend to feel sometimes that they like it in threes. If you're not taking notice the first time, you'll get a second one, and then a third one. You might get hit with the whammy. So, yeah, I mean, it's great that message was there for you. Yeah, definitely.
And I love the way, Pam, that you have trusted your instincts with and gone with your first thoughts, because, you know, that's where Spirit's taking you. So I want to say, when that's your first thought that pops into your head, that is Spirit there with that side of so now the wonderful Felicity is reminding me on Facebook that, you know, if we are suffering with grief, there are counsellors and social workers and people out there that can help with that side of it. Your doctor is one of them as well. Flick is just saying people like myself and Roz can also be of an assistance as well in that sense. And sometimes just being able to connect you with your loved one and to be able to give you that clarity that they're okay, or what they've experienced and gone through has, you know, and that they're at peace, can help you as well with that. So thank you, Flick, for that reminder. And that, you know, that is important. There's nothing wrong with reaching out and asking for help. Okay, so we've got Natasha. She says, a close friend passed away Sunday. So unexpected, made me miss my dad a lot more. Honey, I send my love and healing. I think I did reply to a message that I seen that you sent the other day just after finding out that your beautiful friend had passed. So my heart goes out to you, hun. And do you know what? I think it's quite common for things like this to bring up the emotions of a loved one, the pain, the loss sort of thing with that side of it. So it's about, to me, I want to say it's about acknowledging that side of it and how you're feeling. Okay.
Yeah. I think too that having it remind you of your father's passing as well, that you miss him, you can still have your chats with him, just as that poem spoke of. Then they're not away from you, they are right next to you. So in that memory of your dad, just use that to just have that chat.
Yeah. And, you know,
use that energy for that purpose.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
that's it. You know, there's just because we can't see the physical, what I call the vessel anymore, doesn't mean they're not with us. And there may be times that you sense them, and there may be times that they don't. But I put out there this morning to, everybody that joined in and watched that, look at the amount of times that you will have a memory of a loved one that just pops out of nowhere. That's their soul with you at that very time. Look at the message that they're giving you. Look at what's going on in your life at that time. Natasha's just saying thank you. You're very welcome, honey.
And I find especially, it is. And I find especially following that too, Leanne, you mentioned the perfume of something that reminded you, or I can't remember. Yeah, the perfumes even, or the light touch on a shoulder that feels like the touch they used to give you.
Yeah.
Something my dad used to do was tickle at the back of the neck like a camel bite thing, and it go like that. Sometimes I feel that. So, I mean, it's little things like that. Just bring that memory forward to the present, and they're with you, showing love. Why?
Even things like the tickle to the nose, the touching of the hair, they can do those physical things. I remember when I first started my spiritual journey, my kids were only really young at kindy, and I'd sit there playing in my hair. And I think my husband thought I was going crazy, because every night he got home from work, I'm touching my hair, and I'm like, check, have I got knits? Have the kids brought home knits from kindy, even though they didn't have it? But it took me a while to realise that was Spirit trying to get my attention. They will do it one way or another. So, it was always, he's going, there's nothing there. I'm sick of looking in your hair.
Was that 3 times you got asked?
I reckon it was probably multiples in the end. It just seemed to be every day sort of thing. I don't know if it was just coincidence. It was the days the kids had gone to kindy, or my oldest one was in kindy. But well, I guess she was going 4 days a week back then, but it was just constant, and they got my attention. Now I sit in the lounge and I'll be watching telly, or I'm on the computer on my knee, and I'll get that tickle head, and I'll go, get out, leave my hair alone. I know you're there. Come back tomorrow when I'm working, sort of things.
Yes. And that's something too. If it really isn't the right time, you can ask them to leave.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be reminded of that. We don't have to put up with the interruptions to what is our life if we don't want to. We do have some level of control over that.
Oh, that's it.
Do you agree?
And, definitely. I've got to tell you a story about that. My husband's uncle passed. He'd had cancer for years. And I think it was within the first week of his passing, we're laying in bed, and I said to my husband, oh, your uncle's coming through and he's acknowledging this and this. My husband rolled over to me and he says, tell him to bugger off. He had his own woman in bed. This is mine. I hadn't sensed his uncle come back since then.
Oh, that is funny.
It is. And my husband can be a bit skeptical at times, and for him just to come out and with that and the way it rolled off the tongue, I just about wet myself laughing. I'm like, Paul, some respect, please.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. We do need to show some respect, I think, but it's still funny.
But it's just you know my husband, so you can understand where he comes from with that side of it. But I set my boundaries on my bedroom because for years I got woken up at night by spirit. So I allow spirit to come to the door. They can stand there. They can wait until morning. If they do come in, it's kind of like for me that I need to take attention and take notice. It is an urgent message. But I've set up that respect. I've set up those boundaries with spirit. If the sun's down, I'm not working unless I choose to. And then, they come back while the sun's up. Mind you, they can be there at 7 a.m. as the sun's breaking through the window. But, it's, it is about setting boundaries and whatnot as well with that.
Yes, I'm still learning that.
That's it. It all comes over time. We've got a message from here, Lashana Denise. Hello, curious to know if you can tell me whose spirit has been moving things through my home, please. All right, honey. I get the older male with that side of it. So I do feel there's an older male in your home. I want to say, look at Mum's side of the family. Natasha says she gets...
That was the female side I was feeling.
Beautiful. Natasha says, I get the tingle to the nose. And, that's signs from spirit. They will do all sorts. I've had literally... when one of my customers, like my client, wasn't listening on a phone reading, the whole cupboard exploded. Everything came flying out of that cupboard. So they will get your attention one way or another with that. So,
yes, I was just wondering with the previous one, as far as the things being moved around, is it anything specific that's meaningful to her as far as the actual items go? For reminding her who it might be that's moving them too. So that's just an idea.
Is it a photo, or, it could be something that belonged to a loved one or something that has significance around a loved one, sort of thing with that.
Each time, or something different each time too. So, just what came to mind.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's just trusting that stuff as well with that, okay? Flick's just saying, Mum hopes I enjoyed my spa. I did. Thanks, honey. Please thank Mum. I ended up at Flick's this afternoon and had a spa. It was beautiful to loosen up the muscles a little bit with that side of it. Alison says on Facebook, my son said he saw a shadow the other day. Can you see who it would be? Are you picking up anything on that, Roz? For Alison Holding.
Not as not as far as a name goes. I think it's just someone who was. It just feels like it was someone running through. That's all it feels like to me. It's just someone running through, wanting. Almost is the child ready to see? Has been
That's where I
picking it
was
up
being
that
drawn
way.
to. So, Alison, I don't think it was anybody in particular, but I do feel that your son is intuitive. Now, kids are very intuitive from the age of birth right through to around 10 to 12. Most kids start to lose it, sort of thing, in that side of it. So I just feel that he was picking up on energy in general with that. So, all right, hon. And when your kids are intuitive and they pick up on that stuff, let them know it's okay to do. And we might actually do a night where we talk about intuitive children. I'm actually planning on putting together a couple-hour workshop to help parents with intuitive children as well, and how to deal with that and how to help them with that. That's right, Alison, your son's now 16. That's fine, because some kids keep it, some don't. So with that. So Lashana says it was a $20 note that flipped over right in front of her eyes. I love it. I love the physical side of spirit sort of thing. So I love going ghost hunting. It's great.
No ghosts around here too.
That's it. So excellent. So we've got plenty of comments coming through on Facebook, but unfortunately I can't share them on the page because it is through Be Live, and that's just a cross post type of thing with that side of it. So guys, I am getting a lot of messages on my Facebook page asking for readings, or is such and such around me. So if we can sort of keep it more to the point on the subject of grief and what happens with spirit, it would be, this is why we're dedicating this hour tonight, and we will do readings and other stuff. Jess says she'd be very interested in the intuitive children's workshop with that. Okay. Felicity is just reminding me, if you'd love to join us for a ghost tour through the Royal Adelaide Hospital, the old hospital, we are organising a night where we can hopefully have a group of maximum of, I think it's 20 people, where we just make it a private group too. So you can certainly inbox us on Facebook for more details on that. I am hoping to book a date in the next couple of days for that side of it as well. So it'll be probably early September at this stage, because I know that side of it will close down shortly, because they won't be allowed to have access to the hospital for much longer with that. So is there anything you'd like to touch on at the moment before I sort of bring up the next subject?
No, not really along the line of what we've been chatting about. I think probably just a bit of a reminder of the fact that, with the soul contract side of what our life experience is, I think it's the reminder that we have actually put time on the other side, which I consider to be our home. We have put time there into actually working out what we need in this lifetime here, so that we can actually trust what experiences we're having are meant to be for us to learn and grow in what our life path is through the eons or ages that we've got. To learn that. Like you said, Leanne, once we've actually moved through what we need to learn, I believe quite deeply that we are actually moved along a process of helping others by being in the angelic realm then in various roles. So, so it's the confidence that we can actually have that we have planned to be here. It's not negative. Nothing is negative. It's all for the purpose of being a positive moving forwards in whatever is our karmic path. So, and that journey we've got. And I think that's what I'd like to add to finish that area of it off.
And I might go a little bit more into detail with that, because Hang Adair, the lady, for those that didn't get a chance to join in with us this morning, we spoke about how when we come into this life, it's kind of like we've got that life contract already set out in front of us, okay? With my understanding, what I understand about soul contracts, and I haven't gone that deeply into it, but I can only also go by what Spirit has shown me over the years as well. So in my understanding, when we've got pregnancy, the soul enters the body, the baby, just before birth, and then it grows from there, and we come into this journey with 3 different dates with what I understand. Okay, so one of those dates is our end date, so to speak, and we have already chosen that before we begin this journey. So whether we opt, I don't know why Spirit's saying opt out, we choose to leave on that first day. I love the way they step in and take over at times. We whether we choose to leave on that first date or the second or the third. If it's the third date, the other 2 may have been near misses or the potential for that time to be quite tragic in the way that we could have left, sort of thing. So, we've got that chosen out. We don't necessarily know until the end. I've had somebody tell me that they know they're not meant to be here much longer, sort of thing, and she was adamant she knew when her time was up. I couldn't, and that made me go look at her life in another way, and I got the reference to it was a feeling that this was her last time here. She was moving up into that angelic world, sort of into that level type of it. So we'll travel our life. We will do those things that are set out. We may vary a little bit on that journey from time to time, but we usually come back on track, sort of thing, and everything happens for a reason. We've got lessons to learn, and if we don't learn them in this lifetime, we will come back to learn them again. And a good friend of mine and Roz's, I was at a workshop with her a couple of years ago, and she was told, if you don't learn the lesson in this life, you're coming back to do it. She's like, oh, hell no, I'm learning them this time because I'm not coming back. You know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you, Roz, with that laugh. She was determined this is it. She doesn't need to be here again after this lifetime. Sometimes we just know those things, or she's just being stubborn, one of the
2. Sometimes we just know those things.
That's it.
I have heard it before,
yeah. And I'm sure that I will get a message tomorrow going, "Hoi," sort of thing. Happened last time. I mentioned her within a couple of hours. I got the message. I'm gonna love her, but
yes.
Yeah, that's it. And so if we don't learn it, we will come back and we will do it over and over. We may be doing it in your life now. I'm going to say, look at the things that keep repeating themselves to you. Each situation may be a little bit different, but the lesson is the same, pretty much. Whether it's, in and out of relationships that have the very similar outcome, sort of thing. There could be different things, people taking advantage of you in different ways, but the lesson itself is still very much the same. So I want to say, look at what's going on in that side of it. And, as we get to the other end of our life and we do leave, whether it's tragically, here one moment, gone the next, as Spirit puts it to me, or it's dying from sickness, illness, that side of old age, just body shuts down. We, with what I get shown quite often from somebody that has passed in an accident, they can go into a little bit of shock. They stand back and they look at the accident scene and watch the investigation and all that side of it go on. And it may take some of them a little bit of time to realise that they have passed. They kind of feel like they're just watching a movie or something like that. That's the way I see it. Okay. Others that are ill can start to separate from their body earlier, sort of thing, from the vessel, so to speak, because and with what I have experienced in my own family, it can happen for up to a couple of weeks prior with that, and they start to spend more time, the soul separated from the vessel, and they stand back, they stay close to, like I said this morning, they stay close to their family, they'll be within the room. And Rog, you may have experienced that with Mum and Dad, because both of them were sort of ill prior to their passing. But sometimes we can feel that, other times we may not, because that soul may separate in those last moments, sort of thing.
I had the sense of it, probably more so with Mum, because I was there for most of the time up until, because she was in hospital and I was sitting with her for most of the time, and there was a sense that she had leaving, and I knew I didn't need to be there when she actually did pass. So that was my sense of it in that instance. Yeah.
Yeah. And by memory, Ros, I think there was a couple of times that we had conversations and just things that Mum was saying to you in the lead up to those last couple of months that sort of, gave the opinion that she was ready to go. She was starting to make that transition in that side of it. And, it's the same with dementia patients as well. They seem to, even though they may have dementia for 2 or 3 years or a longer period of time, no matter how quick it is, the more that dementia sets in, it's kind of like that soul separates and spends more time on the other side than they do here with the vessel sort of thing with that. So if you've got a loved one that is suffering with dementia, and they are spending more time out of it than they are having the clarity, that's their spirit already stepping over to the other side. But they don't completely detach until the vessel is finished and closed down, sort of thing. Julie Hughes is just saying, hi Leanne, my auntie passed last week, is she okay? Honey, I do get yes with that, and I got a beautiful smile from her at the same time reading that. And that is another thing that we spoke about this morning, Ros, is also about how, spirit can communicate with us afterwards, after their passing. Some people may take, or some spirits may take a little while to be able to communicate because they need to heal. Their energy is quite weak because it does take energy. And as Ros knows herself, they can pull on our energy. It's quite exhausting for a medium to connect with spirit, especially over, I guess, long periods of time as well with that. But some spirits will take a while. Some can connect quite quickly. How soon do you reckon you felt your loved ones? Well, you spoke this morning about your friend that passed a week or so ago.
Yes, with Roland, it was pretty much as we were doing, and I just sensed, I could see in the face of one of the other participants in that live stream of Get Well Soon that it probably wasn't going to be, that he'd already passed. It was just my sense of it. And then as we finished, there were the 2 photos of the owl with the flight, streamlined, and then the wing. As a hi, I'm still here. I think with look, it was just different with each. It's something that sometimes is flashing and you're sort of uncertain. Oh, was that or not? Was Dad sitting there or not? Or that sort of an instant flash, or the feeling like I said, as far as the tickle neck and that sort of thing. Look, honestly, I think as a timeline, I don't actually remember how soon after he'd passed that I was getting those impressions. I think it was within the month, and then it's just lessened off, and it's just memories more so that bring that thought and comfort, actually, that, it's not the end of who they are. Mum, that's different again as well. That just seems to be all over the place because I'm still living here with that more presence of caring for her here in this home. Right, that was interesting. To feel that from someone I've never actually physically met before, but had a very big influence on how I felt about it. The deep discussions we'd had. So
that was over a period of years too, wasn't it? Wasn't
a couple of years. Yeah, three or four. I know it was when I was way back doing Hangouts on air with Google Plus. It's still going, but in different form, YouTube, and whatever way that is. I'll get back to there too. So
Yeah. Excellent. We just got Mandy D. I'm just looking at the Facebook messages that are coming through, and my feed is going so fast, guys. So I apologise if I don't get to see your message. We will go back later and have a look at the messages today or tomorrow. Mandy D just says, lost a friend on Monday, want to know that she's around me. And I get, yes, honey, I actually feel that she tickles your cheek at times. There was a couple of comments where people have commented about, one was she felt her dad's soul leave his body, and it wasn't long after that his breathing started to deteriorate and he passed with that. Jackie, yes, I get your brother is okay, hun. With that. Okay. Sorry, hun, were you going to say something?
Yeah, look, in shamanic practices, there is process that can be put into place to actually help the soul disconnect from the body and create a smoother transition. It's an area where I haven't done the full-on training for it, but I do know that it can be done, and I just can't remember what the name is for it now, but it's a process that you do actually help those who pass. And it can be using various instruments and tools, or it can just be singing them through the transition or toning or whatever. There's ways of
Reiki.
doing it. So
some people use Reiki
even just putting that energy into helping that soul disconnect is a wonderful way of loving them through it and helping with that process. You don't have to have the formal training to help.
You don't. You just trust your gut. Yeah, your gut instinct, your intuition. We just got a message here that's caught my eye from Teresa. My dad has communicated with psychics or mediums when a family member has seen them with messages about me, but never when I have seen one. It makes me doubt if he's sending me messages or it's me hoping. The thing is, Teresa, we can also, and this goes for everybody, we can also block stuff from spirit. There can be times that we want it so badly that our grief can block the signs, whether, signs from spirit can be the tickles, the touching, the feathers, the penny, what they used to call pennies, the messages through music, whatever catches your attention. So sometimes the fact that we will it to happen may not happen. The other thing is to keep in mind, hun, when you go and see a medium or a psychic, I suggest to anybody that asks me how to prepare for a reading, all you need to do is go in with an open heart and be open to any messages that come through. Because for myself, and I'm sure Roz does the same thing, I set my intentions with what I call my team, my spiritual team, to give you what you need today and to be able to move forward. When you come in and you want to hear exactly what you've got in your mind, I've had clients that sit here and go, nope, I want to hear this, this, and this. They will argue black and blue that you've got to prove that you have my loved one because I've said you say this, you do that. It doesn't work that way. Spirit is in control. We are just the communicator. So it's going in with an open heart and being open to anything that they want to tell you, because we can't change the message. So, Teresa, in that sense, you may be expecting a certain thing, but not getting that. Or Dad is communicating with others to pass the message on. Maybe the grief is still too much, or the emotions are too much for yourself or for him, because I work as an empath. I feel the emotions that come through from spirit. I can sit and cry through a reading, but they aren't my tears. They're spirits. Okay, hun? So I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just saying that is quite possible what can be happening as well with that side of okay.
And I think too that the different ways that some of the mediums actually receive their messages and how they receive them being so different, because each one of us is an individual in how we receive what we're given, that for me sometimes it's just that the information's flowing past so much like a movie sped up to 4 or 5 times, or probably even 20. You can't always pick up every little nuance of the message. So, it's just, not misinterpretation, but it's the skill of picking up some of what's needed to be passed on isn't always fast enough. So
that's it. It's like looking at my newsfeed at the moment, just going doing constant.
Yeah.
You start to read the comment and then it's gone, it's off the screen. Natasha just says, if people think they have the gift, how do they learn how to use it? So, Natasha, that's a really good question, hun, because I always forget about that side of stuff as well. But basically what I recommend is pick up books, do workshops, do the things that you're drawn to. We constantly learn, and I do mentor people, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong way because we all work very differently. You could go to somebody like myself that does mentor, or another teacher. We can give you the tools to help you work out how you work and how you make the connection and help you understand that side of it and strengthen that sort of thing. So we've all got I don't know how you feel about this, Ros, but I think we've all got the ability. It's just about honing it in, understanding it, and knowing how they work and strengthening and working on that.
I think that's exactly right. It's following a guidance. Like it's almost like all the tools are there just in a pile, and you get told, you've got to work out how to do something without instructions. There are times where we just need to have that little bit of a roadmap, or the ticking the boxes, look, grab this A to put with that B. Sometimes it's as simple as that, as actually doing it like that. It's going to be different how you learn, and it'll be relevant for you as to that process. So the guidance, what takes your notice, what Spirit's actually showing you, and it could be the book title that is sitting out real bold on the shelf. Ask your inner self, is that the one I'm supposed to read? If you get that feeling, I will, grab it and go with it. Things like
and
that.
Flick's just thanks, Flick. Flick is one of the beautiful members of my team, and she has just reminded or put up on Facebook that I am running an 8-week online course to teach mediumship and psychic that starts, I think it's the 11th of September. It's on every week for about an hour, hour and a half on a Tuesday night. But if you do want some information on that, you can certainly go to my Facebook page. I don't think I have on my website at the moment. Flick, that's another job we need to do, hun. And go into the events section, and you can certainly inbox and ask for details. It is going to be a small group, so I can spend more time one-on-one with people. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked today, but last night there was 4 positions still left with that. So Terry's just saying that all makes sense. Excellent. Thanks, Flick, for the reminder. And so, beautiful. Oh, wow, there's so many messages through Facebook. It's incredible. I should have probably booked it through my Facebook.
Yeah, well, we're learning as we go with the technology too, and the platforms we're using.
Yeah. And Sammy says that she's super interested. Beautiful, honey. So inbox me and I can certainly help you with that side of it. Yeah. So
it's certainly the people that you're attracted to, and it takes your interest. There's no harm in following that up. And take from everything that you're learning what you need for yourself, because what you don't need for you will just drop away anyway. You won't remember. Exactly. That's how I treat a lot of stuff. If I haven't remembered it, it's not for me.
That's it. But also, Ros, I find, somebody just says Be Live isn't working for them. Alicia, okay, honey, I'm not sure what's going on there. But you're looking at it on my Facebook page, which is actually a cross post with that side of it. So
was the link with that post to come over to the My Time Live TV?
Probably not.
Okay. No, that's all right. I think on mine it might have been, but I didn't test it.
Yeah, I think you did actually. I didn't think about that side of it.
Yep.
But see, we all go through life, we have experiences, and I've found over the years in the way I work, Spirit will pull on my experiences, my memories, what I call my references in my life experience with what I have had, to use a signage sort of thing. So, it's just knowing what that sign means to you, what that sort of how that resonates with you, and working that out, whether you're psychic or you're medium. There is a difference between the two. The medium connects with those that are passed over. The psychic is more about future and guidance sort of side of it. And I do work in both areas. And Ros, what would you say you work as? A bit of both?
Well, it is a bit of both. I think I'm probably just more open to what is coming in, and there's sometimes where I know definitely for sure that it is a physical being that I'm connecting with that is for somebody as a past soul, compared to just receiving from spirit what is, well, messages. And I think really my emphasis is more, rather than future, I don't try to interpret whether it's future or anything. I take the whole lot as being guidance for that person in their journey where they're at the moment, so, as you do too with what we're given.
Yeah.
It's for that moment in time, for what's going to help them through their next steps forward in understanding or in actual direction, what might be the next step for career, relationships or whatever. It's what's being experienced in that moment in time. Isn't that what most people are interested in, getting through the now? Because we live in the now.
Yeah, some people I find also are needing to heal the past, find that peace in the past to be able to let go, sort of thing as well. But yeah, you're right. It is, and that's where I set my intentions to give you what you need for now and to move forward, sort of thing with that side of it. I just got a message here from Pamela. I keep forgetting to put them up. I'm going between Facebook and the two screens, but Pamela just says, I feel Sister's soul had left her body a week prior to her passing. She suffered so much. I didn't feel the need to be at the hospital until the day she passed. And you know what? I think that's fine, Pam, because I think we do what we need to do, sort of thing, in that sense. I'll just take that down. And like I said earlier, today when we spoke about it, spirit can leave the body earlier, like as Pam's saying, she felt the week prior. Even though the body right up to the last moment can go through all the motions, the sounds, the movements, that side of it, that soul can already be left. Spirit will quite often show me, for those that have illness and have a lot of pain, that the soul separated and was able to let go of the pain before their passing. So when they pass, they do pass very peacefully with that. But unfortunately for us that are left behind and do witness that side of it, do see the body go through what seems like a pain process in that way. But I guess if you can take anything from that, a lot of the time if you've felt that soul leave, or you feel that that vessel feels different to you, that soul has more than likely separated and they've let go of that pain. So Tricia says that makes a whole lot of sense. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And I think too, sometimes that is the experience of that physical body that's actually fully resting without any intervention from the soul. It's healing, because there are those that do re-enter back into their body, because that connection, like the near-death experiences that you hear reported sometimes. And I know one of the healing modalities that I've trained in was purely because the lady who received it as part of what she was getting from spirit had received it as a result. She had 2 near-death experiences where she knew she was dead and on the other side experiencing this learning before she came back into her physical body to then teach that further. That's the way that spirit, or that she'd organised as part of her soul contract. There's many stories of near-death experiences where that's experienced and they come back having that purpose reinforced for what they're meant to be doing here, and they do go ahead with wonderful lives, but they've died. Come back. Like there's those experiences too.
We've had to feel that. Samantha just says, loving the chat tonight. I'm pleased you're enjoying it, honey. And I'd love to have more nights where we don't focus occasionally on more the reading side of it, and we help people understand this stuff, because there's so many different elements to what we do. Tricia just says, and I think we could both answer this, Roz, and if you want to go first, you can. Did you find it scary at first with spirit and setting your boundaries?
Look, honest, the first time ever where I was messing around, and it really was messing around, was an experience as seance when I was 14 or 15 or something, around that age. And I suppose it was me that was interested in doing this stuff, because even then I sort of knew there was something different about me in that respect, wanting to connect with spirit. So I'd play around with the seance and the Ouija board, not knowing a thing about it really, besides what I'd seen in movies and the rest. A group of girls with their hands on it, and it was doing its right thing and all the rest. And it was a local entity that we knew had passed, and not previous influence. It was working. I knew we'd connected. And the scare when, there was one of the blokes who'd been outside the window, fingers down the fly screen, and, oh, God, help, scare the...
On the noise.
Oh, yeah.
Like a chalkboard.
It was scary in that instance, because we didn't know what we were doing, didn't understand it fully, and I was just going hell for leather with guiding these other girls in this group, around similar ages, my sisters and a few friends, around a kitchen table. And it was a bit of a no-no, but it certainly kept me in the knowledge, I think, that it is something to be wary of, at least knowing what you're doing before you go into it, even if it's just to ask questions. And, as far as reading cards, being aware that anything that you're using is a tool when it's something like that, with the knowledge that it's not going to do any I've got to be careful here, because I don't know everything. Sometimes you can sound like you know everything, and it's not true. We're all always learning, and being open and aware and having those awarenesses of the protection and setting the boundaries. It was then that I did start setting boundaries around myself with what I was getting, and probably why it took so many years for me to actually reopen that door, I would say. So, but this time with a bit more learning behind it.
And a better understanding. That's it. And I think that's what a lot of us will find when we start to go out and do the workshops and stuff and start to understand how spirit does work. A lot of us have got those abilities and been sensing stuff for a long time. But I guess for me, yes, it did scare the crap out of me a few times. I seem to... I guess as a child, I always had that ability and seen things. I had a really good imagination. I just thought it was what others sort of picked up on. But for me, it wasn't until I was in my mid to late 20s when I was pregnant with my first daughter that things really started to come to head, because mine was more at night. I don't know if it was just that I was more exhausted at night, working, being heavily pregnant, and then going into such a deep sleep that I was more open to the information coming through. But my husband, I think he would have had me committed several times over if he had his choice. I would wake him up through the middle of the night, getting him up to go around and check the windows are all shut and locked and the doors are locked, because somebody would be standing beside my bed, and that he thought I was dreaming or sleep talking. And that's another thing. I claim that, because as a child I would sleepwalk, I would sleep talk, and I swear it was spirit. I don't know how many times I wake up in the morning with an egg to my head because I tried to walk through a hard wall. That sort of thing. And I'm sure I was trying to follow spirit in that sense, because they would come out of the walls, as Flick saying that scared the shit out of her, or the crap out of her, because she had her teddy bear running around the house. But I got woken up with, and it is funny, but we can laugh at that because we know what those experiences are like. But I quite often got woken up with spirit very much in my face, very full on, very real in that sense. I remember one day waking up with a lady standing beside my bed. Now, I interpreted it to her being in the 1800s with the big frilly neck and the big gowns sort of thing like they would wear back then. Under one arm, she had a dark baby that was naked. Under the other arm, she had her head. So I could see the outfit and stuff, but just no head. And then I noticed it was under her arm. So my feeling was, now looking back, more than likely she had had experiences with whether it was a slave or somebody that she shouldn't have had, and she was beheaded for those actions sort of thing. And the child was obviously killed as well with that. But it seems so real. And I'm saying, my husband's going, you're sleep, you're sleep talking. I'm like, no, I'm awake. I'm talking to you. I'm answering your questions. I'm looking at you. And, it just grew from there, sort of thing. But it was like a certain point in my life, it became so much obvious and came through in a different way. So yeah, it did scare me. I was lucky to have a beautiful friend that understood this side of things a lot better and encouraged me to speak to him. And when I did, it was a totally different story, and it hasn't looked back from then. So it just keeps growing.
I think once there's the acknowledgement of self in that space where, yes, is it a gift? Well, yes, it is, but it's also something that everybody's got. So, it's the ability. So,
that's it.
Yes.
Rachel's just saying, hey, ladies, I believe someone is attempting to work with spirit to undermine me. Will it be a long process before I move past this issue? Honey, protect your energy. Okay, you can put a mirror between yourself, and this can work for anybody. Put a mirror between yourself in your mind, between you and them, so the mirror faces away from you, so they get a reflection of what they are pushing onto you. Okay, when you protect your energy and you don't give them the power to do that, that can stop that. You can cut it off dead in tracks.
I'm not sure if Leanne has dropped out.
I've frozen.
And the comments went away.
Okay, I'm still here, Roz.
Because I'm watching one of the lives, do I keep talking or not?
I can hear you, Roz. Can others hear me?
Like to see if I can pick up the live from here.
Yep. Okay.
I cannot.
No, if somebody could just type and let me know if they can hear me.
Put a message. No, I can't even see a message because I'm on the back end of it.
Better go back to work. Beautiful. Protection. Yes, we can hear you both. Okay, excellent. Well, I'll keep talking. Can you hear me now, Roz? Yep.
Well, energy spirit's working really well in the background here.
And it's funny.
A feed anywhere. I can't see.
Okay, maybe refresh, Roz.
Both of us are there.
Yep.
Am I talking over again there, Terry? I can see your comment.
Roz is just messaging me. I'll just let her know I can hear you.
I'll stay quiet while Leanne's there because I can't hear her or see her.
Okay, I love it. And I love the way that happened just when we were answering your question, honey, and saying about being able to protect you and stop that energy from happening. When they do that, it's not coming from the heart. So when we work with spirit,
I'm going to have to drop out and refresh purely because of I can't receive anything. I know you can hear and see me, so I'll just can you drop me down into the lobby?
Yep.
Yeah, so I can actually refresh the screen.
Okay. There you go, Roz. Excellent. When we will do this work, it's got to come from heart, okay? The egos can step in, and this is all part and parcel of the teaching sort of side of stuff that we learn through our development and stuff like that. But as long as we do the work, it's coming from the heart, it's not coming out of ego or personal growth and stuff like that, it's the right thing. When you get somebody like that, hun, that is working against you with spirit, that to me is more black witchcraft side of it with that. I'll just bring Roz back up into the screen and see if she can hear us now that she has refreshed. How's that, honey?
Yes, I can see you again. I was just about to type in the team chat.
Excellent.
After something.
Yeah,
that's
well,
I just came in.
I love the timing of that question. But yeah, everybody can still hear us. So Rachel's just saying thank you for that. So I was just explaining to Rachel that, when we do this work, it's got to come from the heart. Those that are doing it more from that negative or that dark energy is probably the way to put it, aren't doing it for the right reasons. And that's probably where they will bring a lot of stuff on themselves in that sense. But if you block it, send that reflection back to them, you're not going to take it on in your own way. You give them a dose of their own side of it as well.
Yeah, the energy
just before
is thrown back.
Yeah, that's it. Just before I forget, guys, because I've forgotten to mention share the videos and invite your friends and family. If you know somebody that is grieving or finding things very tough at the moment after the passing of a loved one, please tag them in the comments and make them aware of this. This may be something that may resonate with them. And if we can help anybody in the slightest way, you know, it only needs to affect one person and our job is done in that sense.
Yeah.
But I'd love you also to put, because I know we're nearly at, well, we've gone over time again, the hour goes so quick, we could talk for 2 hours. But I'd love you to put in the comments where you're from so we get an idea also of how far our audience is going and, you know, how much we can sort of share the messages as well. And Casey's just saying she's got goosebumps. Beautiful, honey. Sometimes goosebumps can be from spirit stepping in really close too, as well, or just confirmation in what we do. But
going past. I feel that sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it when you walk into a room and you feel the temperature or the thickness of the air change, and usually that is spirit around that as well. With so Sammy's just saying, "Is my dad around us? Is he okay? It's his anniversary next week, and also my mum's birthday and Father's Day, honey. I do get he is very much around you. I get a cheeky energy with him." As well. Julie's just saying she's from Riverton. We had somebody comment from Adelaide, New South Wales, south coast of New South Wales. Michigan, I know I've said that wrong. United States, beautiful.
Michigan. Oh yeah, Michigan. United States. Yeah.
I knew as soon as I said it, I'd said it wrong. California.
I've just worked out at the last end to have a separate tab open and just turn the volume off, and I can monitor switching between two screens rather than tabs, rather than having two computer monitors, which I don't have available at the moment. Yes.
It's good having the second one.
I finally worked
next
it out.
week. Tomorrow night I might actually try and use another camera and go into broadcasting onto another page at the same time. Just getting technical, we're playing. It's great. So
the learning out loud. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing a lot of that lately. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Balaclava, beautiful, out in pretty much the sticks. I love it.
Almost.
So it's getting out that way.
Anyway,
that's it. Yeah. My husband likes the racetrack out there. We haven't been there for years.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one of the first days he put me on. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess. Oh, look, you might know this one. Terry from Menengi.
Terry, yeah.
Hey, Terry. Beautiful. Your hometown, honey. Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, we might, love it. We might leave it there. But if you would like to, or you're interested in taking up or looking into the workshop on learning how this side of stuff for yourself works from the beginner, the mediumship or the psychic, certainly check out my events page on my Facebook. The workshop is up there and it's an 8-week course. Off the top of my head, I think it's like $199 for the 8 weeks with that side of it. Pam is just saying thank you. So is Sammy.
Lovely.
Sammy, just inbox me, honey, or have a look. By paying your $50 deposit, you are securing your place in that workshop, and then emails will go out on the information and stuff from that. Certainly feel free to check out my website or my Facebook page, Roz, do you want to tell us your page name, honey, so people can find you?
Well, the page name that I'm growing now is Hypnosis Plus, and it's the one with the plus first and then the word plus with Roz. So it's Hypnosis Plus with Roz. Life changes sometimes give us a fresh breath of air and wanting to change things around. So that's what I did. So it's Hypnosis Plus with Roz or Roz Boundy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. There's the link there somewhere on the tabs on the left that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, and Terry's just saying, Roz, you need to catch up soon.
So true, Terry.
such a big town.
No, it is.
Beautiful. Yeah. And Felicity
Yeah.
has put up my website, Leanne Winston Psychic Medium.com. Honey, you've spelled it medium typo with there.
Yeah, well,
Little
my
thing, but
website's
that's okay.
not quite working properly yet. I've got to work on that. That part of technology I haven't quite fixed yet.
It's work in progress.
Went down, but yeah, there's a bit of work in progress. It'll all develop and grow as it's meant to at the right time.
I need to put you in touch with my mate. That's it. I need to put you in touch with my mate Nick. He works wonders with websites.
Yeah.
And Charlie's just saying, hey ladies.
Yeah. Roland was
Beautiful.
a man who was actually helping me with some of that too. So that's why he is sadly missed, not just because of what I'm not getting help with. It's just the whole thing. We can miss those we love so much, but they're still with us.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a part of it. They're still with us.
Yeah. Just close your eyes, clear your mind, take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel their energy with you.
Yeah.
When we let go of that brain chatter, it's amazing what we can have come through. We can all do it. All right. Absolutely. On that note, we're going to leave you with that, sending love and healing to those that need it. And good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Excellent. And you can catch me tomorrow night on live at 8:30 doing readings. All right. And Roz and I are back Tuesday morning at 10:30. Yes. Yeah. Every Tuesday morning for Intuitive Tuesday chat.
Intuitive chat. Yes.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys. All right. Good night, all. Bye.